Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well. For those of you watching this on YouTube, Facebook, and or Periscope, I hope that you will log on and follow Liberty Through Christ Be Made Whole Facebook page. And the reason is because you don't get all the tips unless you do. You're getting some of the tips, but not all of them. So we want you to join in with us. Lisa and I have been doing a 10-day marriage challenge. Quit it, kitty. Sorry. And people are utilizing the tools and they're implementing them into their daily routine, and they're not hard. None of these are hard. These are things that you can do to enrich your marriage on a daily basis, okay? So I'm super excited to be here with you today because I've got a great tip for you, okay? What do you think that tip might be whenever it comes to your spouse? What is the number one thing that people try to do with other people, not even just your spouse, but they try to change them? Many of women, I'm sorry, my cat's over here. Kitty, quit it. Sorry. Many of women have tried to change their husbands. Many of husbands have tried to change their wives. And the fact of the matter is that God is in the business of bringing about change. Now, there's a big, big difference between supporting your spouse, okay, to make the healthy choices, to make the right choices, but it's not your job to change your partner. And there's a lot of research behind this, and it happens frequently. Generally in relationships, when they're failed, it's because of unrealistic expectations. So I tell couples all the time, there is a reason God made y'all different. And if you were the same, one of y'all would not be needed. One of you has strengths in one area where the other one's weaker, and some of you have strengths in another area where the other partner is weaker. But the fact of the matter is that when you're blended together, you tend to complement each other, right? But if you are trying to change your spouse, and the fact of the matter is you need to change together. You need to find this idea that you can both grow in an emotional, healthy state, rather than thinking that, oh, if I push them hard enough. When you try to push people like that, it doesn't work. Okay, you've got to be able to accept them for who they are and where they're at. Now, this can get really tricky when you're talking about major dysfunctions, when you're talking about, drug addiction, when you're talking about, all these other factors. There is a huge difference. And that's another broadcast for another time, because we certainly don't have time to go into that today. But today I'm asking you, if you want to enrich your marriage, if you really want to do the right thing, then always consider your spouse, accepting them where they're at, and both growing together healthy in a lot of different ways. Because the reality is you cannot change anyone. Zero. You cannot change anyone. The only person you can change is you. And you've got to decide to take off the expectations. You have got to decide to say, okay, you know what? I am going to allow them to grow in grace, and I am going to not force them to change. I'm going to allow the Holy Spirit to speak to them and allow them to get the changes that they need for us to grow further and faster in our relationships. So today's marriage tip is, don't try to change your spouse. Don't do it. Somebody say, don't do it, but hashtag don't do it in the chat stream, because it will cause you all kinds of grief, and they will never measure up to your unrealistic standard. Now, if there is problems, obviously, and I understand there is, you go ahead and reach out, get help, get counseling, do whatever you got to do, because it is important. You don't let things get really bad and then deal with it. That's whenever it gets beyond, and a lot of marriages end up in divorce. So if you are in need of help, I encourage you, get the help that you need, grow in love, grow in grace. Don't try to change the other person. Focus on yourself. Go look in the mirror. And when you look in the mirror, then you get to make your changes and allow them to make their changes and work together to be healthy emotionally, physically, and spiritually. God bless you guys. Tomorrow, Lisa's going to have another tip, but in order to see that tip, you have to go over to Liberty Through Christ Be Made Whole page, like it, follow it, comment, share these tips out. I want you to share these. People need to know how to grow in grace. And some of you already know, but a lot of you need reminders, right? We all need reminders. I need reminders. So God bless you guys. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.